Witnessed the west coast of California being taken out by nuclear warfare. And I gave this a lot of prayer, like, Lord, when is this going to happen? And I feel like the Lord said that during the last half of the Great Tribulation, there'd be all-out nuclear warfare, but he will protect his children in remote areas of the wilderness during this time. Revelation chapter 12 says the Lord will protect his bride in the wilderness for 3.5 years. He will protect his bride. That's why it's important to listen to the Lord, where to relocate. For the time will come, you need to get out of cities and go remote. And if you can get out of the United States and go north to Canada, I highly recommend it. Or at least find a mountainous area as far from population zones as you possibly can. For after warfare comes, after the red horse of war marches, pale horse of famine will come. Famine and death will follow this great war to come. It's going to be a horrible time as the four horsemen of the apocalypse make their ride, as we read in the book of Revelation. The white horse is the Lord Jesus Christ, whose judgments will be poured out upon this earth. Then the red horse is warfare coming. The pale horse, of course, famine and death, and so we need to be in prayer at how to prepare for this time. I saw the nuclear destruction of Salt Lake City, Utah. It's like I was driving through Utah, the desert of Utah, in the middle of the night, and I witnessed to the west a large nuclear bomb go off, and the city just before me went totally black. Power grid was knocked out. I witnessed the nuclear destruction of Salt Lake City, Utah. I've had a dream about the nuclear destruction of Paris, France. Paris, France is ground zero. I saw people in a nuclear fallout shelter in Paris trying to escape, and I saw a large mushroom cloud nuclear device go off behind the Eiffel Tower, and people were hiding in bunkers and underground shelters trying to take cover from this. And I was told in the dream that Paris, France is ground zero. There's going to be nuclear warfare all over the earth. Russia will be destroyed. You read about the land of Magog. Russia will also be destroyed by fire. The Antichrist will be Gog from the land of Magog, the prince of Meshach and Tubal. He will come from the land of Russia. Meshach is Moscow. Magog is the land of Russia. Gog means prince. Prince of Russia will be the Antichrist. In Ezekiel chapter 37, 38, 39, you'll read about this Antichrist. Gog and Magog, the prince of Meshach and Tubal. Meshach is the ancient name of Moscow. Tubal is the ancient name of an area in what is today the Asian part of the Russian Federation, from my understanding. Other people believe it could be Kiev in the Ukraine, which currently is not part of Russia, but it's most likely in the Asian part of Russia. And anyway, the Antichrist will come out of Russia. The Lord has showed me that. I've had dreams, I've had visions of the coming Russian Antichrist. The entire world will become socialistic. It will become communistic. And the Lord gave me a dream of a communistic flag covering the entire earth. I saw a one world government. The Lord spoke to me about the Antichrist being a dictator over a one world government. There will be a one world government under the Antichrist. The United Nations will play a major part in this. I've seen the Chinese occupation of America. They were wearing United Nations armbands and carrying the blue flag of the United Nations and the red flag of Communist China. I saw the Chinese occupation of America. China will align themselves with Russia, with the Russian Antichrist, and they will rule the world for a period of time. And evidently there will be some kind of rebellion within the beast's empire, as you read about in the book of Revelation. And I believe the last 3.5 years, his empire will fall apart into warfare. And that's when you'll have total 100% nuclear warfare. And God will protect his children. I don't believe the radiation will affect his children, just like he protected the Israelites, the Hebrews, in the land of Goshen within Egypt from the plagues of Egypt. I believe he will protect his children in the wilderness in the same way. The radiation won't affect you.
It's me again, Dominika. I'm from Poland. As I have said a month ago, when I have recorded a video about the nuclear war that is coming on the USA. Yes, nuclear war, and it's not a joke. It's not a joke. And I'm giving you American people, and other nations who are living in the United States. I'm giving you an alarm. It's an alarm because, as we can see, another intercontinental ballistic missile have been prepared, I guess. Okay, and it's serious. It's serious. I've been given another dreams, and another signs. So I'm telling you, it's an alarm. I start an alarm at this time. It can happen in any minute. It can happen in any minute. Okay, let us now focus on the signs and dreams that I've been given for the whole month, more than a whole month, okay? And one day, God gave me a word by the Bible, because I've been given visions, dreams. I have visions even when I meditate, when I pray a lot, I have visions also. So it was word given by God through the Bible. And I opened again my Bible. I asked God, please God, tell me why America? Why America? Of course I knew why America, but I wanted to be sure if it's gonna happen for real, because I thought I need more signs, okay, to prove it. I need more signs to be sure, because I don't want to be a false prophet or somebody like this. I just want to be a messenger of God, because I am the messenger of God. And that's what I got. It's Nahum's book, 3rd chapter, The Woe of Nineveh. As I was reading this, the word or the whole sentence, America is like Nineveh. The USA is like Nineveh, and it will fall. Okay, it will fall. My justice will come. Wrath, justice, and it's going to be only ash, fire, and judgment.
And last night I dreamed that it was like a really bad snowstorm, and I was in a car, and I was sitting there and I was watching all these cars slide into each other down this hill. I don't know if that means anything or not. I don't know. I don't usually dream. I don't know what I'm dreaming about. All this chaos, cars, wrecks, stuff like that. I don't know why. I'm not watching anything with that in it, so I don't know what's going on. Earlier I was laying there. I was awake, but I closed my eyes and I saw this. It looked like when an atomic bomb goes off, and mushroom cloud. It did it real slow. It was kind of thin. It wasn't like a wide base, but it was like this thin. It had colors, orange and black, and it was like, you know how fire would go through the stem of it, and it was like in slow motion. It was like this thing blew up and it went way up high into a mushroom cloud, and I was like, oh my, I was like, whoa, what was that? I guess it was like some kind of vision, and it was very clear. So I don't know. It was like on a flat place, but there was like this long stem went up into a mushroom cloud like an explosion, like a nuclear bomb would probably go off. I don't know. Anyway, like I just want to say, like, what does this mean? Chaos, a nuclear explosion.
Nuclear war destroys New York and London, Moscow. Russia's politicians and state media have threatened nuclear war, saying that the US, the British capital, London, will be completely destroyed. According to the Daily Star, Russian nationalist politician Vladimir Zarnovsky has said that the war will continue, which will result in the destruction of New York, London, Warsaw, Kiev, Riga and Tallinn. Russia's Liberal Democratic Party leader Vladimir Zarnovsky, who is not part of the government, made the remarks on state television. Zarnovsky added, "Now the last party is going on, but a great tragedy is about to unfold for humanity and for Europe. There is only one solution, and that is the use of force. And there will be no time to count them. Stop running to New York because soon this city will not be on the planet." On the other hand, Canada has sent a contingent of special forces to Ukraine. Sources say the Special Services Group will plan to evacuate Canadian diplomatic staff in the event of a full-scale war, in addition to supporting the Ukrainian government.
Given by God while he was in college that forever changed his life. 10 years before the tragic events happened on 9/11, the Lord showed him America's future. Apostle Taylor prophesied for 10 years, desperately hoping America would listen. He revealed that Russia was going to attack and bring war to America, and that America would not win this war. The Lord showed him that George Bush Jr. would be the president when this war would begin.
The President of the United States to speak now to the nation. Let's go directly to the White House.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. The victims were in airplanes or in their offices. Secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads, friends and neighbors. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror.
In this dream, it was shown that America would be attacked at the seat of her strength,
9/11,
which are her financial centers. The warnings were ignored. Many people tragically died as a result.
About 15 minutes ago, bodies started dropping from the top floors. It was absolutely terrible. Obviously, they have two choices: to be burned in flames or to leap and end it all.
It was shown him that the war began as Russia paid terrorists to come to America to bomb the Twin Towers, thus creating a diversion or decoy to make the American people think that it was only about terrorists bombing America, when in actuality Russia was behind the entire scheme. This was fulfilled on 9/11. David E. Taylor was in New York City the day before, in the morning of 9/11, warning the people of the coming attack.
It's on a date that no American will ever forget. 9/11, September 11th. You were in New York City. What did God show you before the event?
Well, actually, when I was in college, Sid, I had another dream, a visitation from the Lord, and He said, "I've come to show you what's going to happen in America, and you are to prophesy this and tell this to the officials." But before the war hit America, I saw the planning, and they planned to go undersea to attack America. But before this, the Lord showed me also that President Bush's son would be president when the beginning of this war happened. And the Lord said to me, that the war will not start full-fledged. Russia will not just attack with missiles America and send missiles over here. The attack will start with terrorists bombing the financial centers of America. And the Lord said that will be the beginning of the war. And what Americans don't understand, they think it's about Bin Laden and terrorists. No, they're getting distracted. The real monster behind this attack is Russia. So I would go all the way to New York, 2 hours, and drive around the Trade Center in New York and begin to tell the people that were with me and some of the people in New York that the terrorists are going to bomb this place. I went back up there and drove around the Trade Center. This was on 9/11, all the way to the morning of 9/11, all the way up early in the morning. And the Lord said, now, it's time to get out of here, leave. And when I left, when I got back 2 hours later, it was on the news to my hotel that the Trade Centers had just been bombed.
In another dream, the Lord then showed him Russia would attack by submarines that could not be detected by America's military, and that they would release nuclear missiles onto America's soil.
Had this dream in 1980. Russia was planning a war against our country by nuclear submarine. These submarines would not be detected on our shores without us knowing it and could bomb our coast. I saw nuclear bombs come out of the top, under the water, out of these submarines and hit our shores and just bombed our shores.
Russia is deploying its ballistic missile and attack submarines in numbers, range, and aggression not seen in 2 decades. In an exclusive interview, the commander of U.S. naval forces in Europe tells CNN the buildup is part of an alarming strategic view.
They're very clear that NATO is viewed as an existential threat to Russia. Our military capability, they view in a very visceral way as a threat to Russia.
Adding to U.S. concern, Russia is deploying new submarines that are harder for U.S. naval forces to track and detect. Following years and billions of dollars in investment, they are quieter, better armed, and have a greater range of operation.
The submarines that we're seeing are much more stealthy. They're acoustically quieter. We're seeing them have more advanced weapon systems, missile systems that can attack land at long ranges.
The increased Russian sub-activity is backed by a much broader military expansion. Russia is adding or upgrading some 12 naval bases across the Arctic Circle, expanding its capability to send subs in numbers through the crucial Greenland-Iceland-UK gap into the Atlantic and closer to U.S. and NATO territorial waters.
It was in 2004, in a dream, we were high up over America. A long-range nuclear missile was floating right past us, our eyes. Said USSR from Russia, one hit North Florida.
The animation is sobering. Russian missiles that could circumnavigate the planet. Nuclear-powered cruise missiles hugging the terrain that could fly effectively forever, with targets that could be anywhere, including, as the animation highlights, Central Florida. When that segment ended, Vladimir Putin's audience broke into applause.
It was certainly unfortunate to have watched the video animation that depicted a nuclear attack on the United States.
Putin's warning about the specter of nuclear war in Europe is a reminder that there are worse outcomes if Ukraine joins NATO, according to an international security expert. This comes amid rising tensions between Russia and Ukraine, as Putin has amassed about 100,000 troops on the Ukrainian border. NATO countries including the US, UK and Germany have warned of tough sanctions on Russia as alliance troops gather in Poland, Romania and Lithuania. After a meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron earlier this week, Putin said, whether you understand it or not, that if Ukraine joins NATO and seeks to bring back Crimea by military means, European countries will automatically be drawn into a war conflict with Russia. But you certainly understand Russia is one of the leading nuclear powers.